Hello and welcome to the Whirly Bloke channel. If you always wanted a cinewhoop capable of carrying a GoPro Hero and you didn't want to build your own, this bind and fly MegaBee V2 from iFlight may just be what you're looking for. Cinewhoops of all sizes are big news at the moment, and depending on who you ask, the FPV market in 2019 is a bit flat. But tiny whoops, cinewhoops and sub 250 gram quads have got very popular, mainly because of price and legislation. And now we've got micro HD cameras capable of 4K that can be easily mounted on micro quads. You've got the best of both worlds. Well, almost. HD split and dual sensor cameras like the Runcam Split, Cadex and Tarsia 4K dual sensor cameras and the new Hawkeye Firefly 4K split are impressive, but they aren't a GoPro and they don't deliver the same quality footage despite being similar specs. Although personally I think the dual sensor cameras are the future for small quads like this Tarsia 4K. So if you want good quality footage that you can post-process, you need a quad that can carry a GoPro Hero 7 or similar. And if you want cinematic FPV footage, you should just use a 5-inch quad. I've seen too many people try to use a ducted cinewhoop like this or a squirt to capture cinematic FPV footage when something like an Impulse RC Reverb carrying a Hero 7 will produce much better results. It'll just fly better. Ducted quads have all sorts of issues like yaw washout and inherently have less performance. But if you need to fly around soft targets or confined spaces where you don't want to damage anything, then a ducted cinewhoop is exactly what you want. And if you want GoPro quality footage, then you're going to need to build your own squirt or nutmeg that's up to carrying a Hero 7. And I've used this squirt very successfully in quite a few commercial video shoots for exactly that reason. But if you don't want to build your own, which you'll have to do with the squirt, and you need a bind and fly ducted cinewhoop that'll carry a Hero 7, you're a bit stuck. But iFlight have now got this MegaBee V2 that does all that for you. And iFlight have a history of quality products that use quality components with a fantastic build quality. Certainly all the iFlight products I've reviewed on this channel have fitted that bill. So let's take a look at what you get with this MegaBee V2. In the box you get all the usual extras. You get some spare props and some battery straps that are iFlight branded, and these are quite nice ones for a change. You get a few additional hardware pieces, some bolts and some antenna caps if you're going to use those, and really usefully you get this right angle USB adapter because it's really hard to get your USB cable into that connector down there when the ducts are in. It's quite a nice addition. The MegaBee itself is a similar configuration to a Shendrones Squirt, which you've got here. It's slightly smaller. It's a 3-inch quad and they spec it at 146mm wheelbase. The bottom plate is 3mm carbon and it's got these cross supports which are new to the V2. And if you look at that compared to a Squirt, it's very similar. And these supports here do make the frame a lot stiffer, which is good. And you also get these TPU 3D printed mounting pads on the bottom here. You can just see there's a similar TPU front to protect the FPV camera there. And at the back there is a TPU mount for the TBS Crossfire antenna, which is the option that I've got on this particular one. Now, unlike the Squirt, these ducts aren't in pairs, so you can replace one if you break it. There's no joining section here. And weirdly, these ducts are 3D printed using PLA. And I'd normally expect this to be TPU, because PLA is quite brittle and it's not temperature stable and can easily break. But these do seem to be pretty solid. They've got a little bit of give, but they don't feel brittle. You might have thought they didn't use TPU because it's just harder to print. But the other TPU parts on here, like this stubby antenna mount at the back, are very nicely made. Motors, these are Xing 1408 3600 kV. They've got hollow titanium shafts with Dalprop T30 45BN props and these low profile prop nuts, which look pretty good quality. Under this 2mm carbon top plate is the flight stack. Now this is an iFlight Sussex V4 V2 tower system that I reviewed before on the channel. There is a newer V3 version available now with twin gyros, but this V2 is a pretty good flight stack. It's an F4 based flight controller with a BL Heli 32 4-in-1 ESC board on the bottom, and that delivers 35 amps. And there's a power switchable VTX using IRC tramp protocol on the top, and you can switch that between 0 or PIT up to 500 milliwatts. And this is a really nice 20x20 flight stack that's proven to be pretty reliable. The VTX antenna on the back here is a fox ear stubby mounted on another TPU mount with the TBS Crossfire receiver pushed into the top there as well, which is nice. And I opted for Crossfire mainly because I'm pretty much switching over everything to Crossfire at the moment. But you can get this pre-fitted with an FrSky XM Plus or an RXSR. And the Crossfire antenna down here is mounted very nicely. Pretty good. Up front, we've got the Cadex Ratel with a 2.1mm lens. And this is currently my favourite dedicated FPV camera that I've used on quite a few builds now. It works great in the sun and in low light conditions as well. And it's got really good colours, but it's just not too saturated. It's a good all-round FPV camera and I really like it. At the front here, there's plenty of camera protection in the frame and the ducts. And being a Cadex, you can order things like the ND filters direct off their website, and they turn up pretty quickly, I have to say. The TPU mount for the GoPro is fantastic with this separate lens protector. It's quite a nice idea. Just pushes in there like that. It's tight, which is what you want, but you don't want it too tight. Get that one. Now, I think this protector ring like this is essential for a Hero 5, 6 or 7 camera and is missed off by many of the 3D mount suppliers. And you can order this mount in different colours, different colour combinations, and it's a really good design. The only downside with this, I guess, is the angle is fixed, but that's no different from many GoPro mounts. And we'll see whether it's the right angle when I get out flying. And I will be using these AC 1300 mAh 4S lipos. So let's check out the weight of this thing. So let's see here. Make sure I get that in shot and put the top plate back on. So the dry weight is 247 grams, and with a battery and a GoPro it is 523 or 524 grams. So it's not a lightweight, but that's fine. This isn't a racer or a super agile acro quad. It's designed for capturing cinematic, slow flow FPV footage in and around people and other soft targets. So the extra weight isn't really a problem. So this is the sort of footage you can expect to get. This is using a GoPro Hero 7 with Hyper Smooth turned on, But there's nothing to stop you using Hero 6 and then use something like Real Steady Go if you want to smooth the footage in post. Or if you want, just fly really smoothly. And this does fly really nicely. It's easily as good as a well-tuned Squirt, and since it's a bind and fly, you'll be up and flying with almost no setup to do. There's a small touch of yaw washout, but this is most probably due to the inherent use of ducts rather than the yaw washout that you get on smaller cinewhoops that's caused by lack of motor torque. So this is a great option for someone who wants a cinewhoop that takes a GoPro and just wants to get out and capture 4K footage. Let's have a quick look at the Betaflight setup. Connect. And the first thing we'll do is just check, yep, that's working. Reset Z-axis and calibrate the accelerometer. Looks good. Ports, so we've got 3 UARTs. And I'm not sure which one of these, not sure what, there's 2 serial RXs, but anyway, UART3 is being used for the smart audio IRC tramp protocol. We'll just leave that as it is for now. Configuration, we've got D-Shot 1200, props are out as a factory setting. Loop times 8K, 8K, all good. So that's good. Receiver is set to serial based and the provider is Crossfire serial, which is good. And what else we got? That's all fine. I'm going to turn off air mode because I don't like that. Those are all on, that's good. Nothing else needs to be set. So we'll save and reboot. Perfect. Power and battery, and these are all fairly normal. That's good. Failsafe is set to drop, which I will check before I do a test flight. PID tuning. Now I don't plan on changing these until we've done our first flight, just to see what they're like, but I will actually add some expo, which is what I like. That's fine. Save. Good. Receiver. So let's see what we've got here. We've got throttle, yaw, pitch and roll. And let's just check the switches. Arm switch, that's good. Mode.
Flight mode, acro. Flight mode, horizon. Flight mode, angle.
Good.
Turtle mode activated.
Turtle mode, that's fine. Okay, that's good enough to be getting on with. Nothing else needs to be changed there. Let's go into modes. So arm, we've got on aux 1. I'll just crank that at the top there. That's good. Angle mode, we've got on our mode switch, so that's on aux 2, which is good. We'll add horizon mode. I hardly ever use these, to be honest. I don't know why I keep setting them. So that's on aux 2. Excellent.
Flight mode, horizon. Flight mode, angle.
Good. Save. Okay, beeper we will put on that switch, which is aux 4, I think. Aux 3, one of the two. Look. Aux 3. Okay. Squeeze that up there. Save. That's working and good and loud. What else do we need to set on here? Air mode, I like to have on when we're in acro, which is most of the time. So let's aux 2.
Flight mode, horizon. Flight mode, acro.
That's good. Anything else? Turtle mode. So we'll put that on aux 4.
Turtle mode activated.
And save. Perfect. So there's nothing else to change just at the moment. Let's just hide everything that we're not using and double check everything. Arm. Good. Angle.
Flight mode, angle. Flight mode, horizon. Flight mode, acro.
Good.
Flight mode, angle. Turtle mode activated.
Great, that's all we need. Adjustments, servos, nothing else to do there. OSD. I'll set up RSSI value to display link quality, but I'll do that later. Nothing else needs to change here, although I will upload the big fonts. There we go. So let's go back in and carry on setting up the OSD. RSSI I'll put in for now, but it's not going to be used, so I'll just chuck that up there. Model name is up here, which is good. Timer 1, put those right in the middle, which is the warnings. VTX channel I don't want, throttle position I don't want, craft name I generally only leave in for the maiden. Timer I'll put down here, and there we go. Battery voltage over there. And that is all we need. And a quick check to see what version of Betaflight we're running. And it's 3.5.7, which is the last release of Betaflight 3.5, which I'm happy with for the moment. Now, because this is iFlight, spare parts are available directly off their website, and the quality is fantastic. And at the time of this review, this MegaBee costs around $270 or £250, which is great value for what you get. And check out the links below for the latest prices. As always, thanks for watching, and if you found that useful, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. And if it's your first visit, then please consider subscribing to the channel for updates. I'll see you next time.